All right. Good morning, hospitality listeners. It is another exciting Monday episode. Unfortunately, we are short staffed as one of our amazing hosts is trapped in the storm, but that'll be one of our main topics today as we also cover things from some fundraising, some more fundraising, and of course, some new services that Airbnb is playing with. So let's begin today's episode. Good morning, gentlemen.
Happy Monday.
Good morning. How we doing?
It's another beautiful day in the neighborhood. We're for all the listeners, we're a little short staffed, as I shared in that cold open intro. Brandy Canali is trapped in the storm. Just kidding, but she has had a difficult time getting out due to her canceled flight and then delayed flights as well, which is a big topic for today, as many people around the globe, or at least in the United States, have been impacted by this crazy winter storm. But speaking of winter storms, you guys also had a little bit of an impact, more Jamie probably than Michael, having to entertain your boys while the snow is hitting hard. So how's the weekend?
Yeah, and we got maybe a quarter inch of ice, so enough to make it look pretty, not enough to impact the power. Though as of this morning, Habersham County, where my short terminal is still has no power.
Oh, wow.
So I'll probably venture up there someday, one day this week, and see if there's any damage that I need to report on. But right now, I'm gonna.
Were there any guests at the property?
No guests, fortunately.
Okay. Yeah, very fortunate.
Yeah, and then school's canceled today. Fingers crossed that school will be open tomorrow, and thank God for Gigi and Grumpy, my parents, watching the kids today, so I can be with you guys this morning.
Well, Michael was making a comment.
Is that a perfect sweep of no Mondays, Jamie? A perfect sweep of no Mondays?
No Mondays for what?
Yeah. What do you mean?
For school.
Oh, yeah. A lot of yeah, with holidays and all that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it doesn't look like you're having a crazy storm or winter storm behind you, Jamie, for all the video viewers. So surprised that there's no school, unfortunately. And
we'll get into the storm impact, but it is, and a lot of friends going out to Alice today, the big hotel investment conference in LA. I saw expectations that attendance could be down 50% because there's and all the flight cancellations that we see throughout the country, and everyone trying to show up yesterday and this morning. Like, man, I'm glad I'm not trying to fight it out of the airport right now.
100%. I saw the same thing on LinkedIn as well. Lots of movement for Alice, as a lot of people are trying to navigate the storm, and I think a lot of the people from or attending the conference are coming from the East Coast. So it's
trying to get out of DC or New York right now. That is a disaster.
100%. Yeah, it's a little crazy for everyone, but it's all right. We're going to make it through. It's just one day, hopefully. So, but tons of impact happening. So let's get carried away into our first topic around the storm. There was quite a few flights canceled, over 10,000 flights yesterday, with 2,000 plus delayed flights, which I believe has changed or increased this morning. And of course, I wish we had our reporter on the ground, Brandy Canali, who could be speaking to this directly live. But Jamie, I know you were able to pull up some data around this. So do you have any insights to share for the listeners?
Yeah, I mean, most markets around the country we've seen and sort of impacted. We've seen a massive increase in cancellations. So, Will, I think, do you have the image I shared with you this morning?
I'll pull it up here.
So across the country, we've seen, and on average in the US, we've seen about a 16% increase in cancellations from last week to this week. And there's some markets where we are seeing real severe impacts in terms of cancellations. North Georgia mountains, where my property's at, 180% increase in cancellations. Fredericksburg, Texas, 125% increase in cancellations. Asheville, over 100%. So, and if you looked at a map of where the ice and snow was going to be, it would very much align with and where we're seeing the impact here. So probably no surprise there on where we're seeing the cancellations, but I'm still, and I think it's prudent that everyone tried to cancel their trips instead of getting up into some of these mountain destinations where if you get iced in, and especially now since we're seeing sort of a deep freeze layer in after it, these areas I think are going to be impassable for a while as crews work to clean up trees, get power restored. It's probably going to be some time till we're back to normal. And then what we'll be watching in the aftermath, when you do see damage like this, especially impacting homes, is the subsequent uptick in bookings afterwards as people start using short-term rentals for temporary housing as while their properties are fixed. So you look at the damage in markets like in Oxford, Mississippi, which just saw, I think it saw like over an inch of ice and a lot of damage associated with it. For those properties that are then able to accommodate guests, didn't see damage, we'll probably see a subsequent impact to the positive side in terms of more bookings during a low period.
For sure. The good thing will be for all the maintenance crews or the tree cutting companies and all these service providers for short-term rentals will get very, very busy. But that's probably the only good economic thing in impacting this. Michael, can you hear us? Are you still lagging?
Some of the imagery coming out of it for a southerner. Yeah, I'm lagging pretty bad. So I don't know if you want me to keep going or not. Good? All right, beautiful. Some of the imagery coming out is pretty staggering for a southerner like me. I mean, people's snow coming up to people's waist in the Northeast or New England. And I saw it throughout Nashville, just loads of trees falling, and ice was so heavy it was knocking branches down, and roads were blocked. So there's going to be some time and some recovery associated with this storm. But to Jamie's point, in certain areas, I think they'll really benefit. Other areas probably won't. Like, sorry, Jamie, North Georgia's probably not on the list of places people will go stay in if recovery is needed. But in Nashville, if your home was lucky enough to see, you're going to be in probably better shape following the storm than not. I'm just glad that I'm not a weather insurance company, because this would be a lot to handle.
Michael just took my segue. Yeah. So speaking of negative impacts, WeatherPromise just raised a little over $12 million and was announced late last week. But as a joke, most of their funding is probably going to payouts right now. So that $12 million gone in a flash. But no, it's good to see some activity here, because we've covered them because they had their partnership, or I guess some A/B testing and trials with Verbo. It's a great product, a great thing to, I think, for guests, especially when operators have stricter cancellation policies or rules and kind of I guess policies just around cancellations and refunds. But having something like this and then hit right with the storm, I'm sure they're happy and riding a high from that fundraise, but probably not as excited today as they were when they secured that funding.
Yeah, I bet for them though, it's storms like these that also highlight the risks associated with weather on the trip.
Yeah.
And if they're building company for the long term, you sort of want one of these every once in a while to remind people that, hey, it's good to insure against a big interruption like this, where you may not be able to take that trip, even if you're going to a ski resort. And when you get 2 feet dumped, like you may not now be able to get to that ski resort
or get out of that ski resort.
right.
Yeah. Yeah, so congrats to WeatherPromise. We're excited to see more funding. And speaking of funding, for the listeners, you should definitely go check out the episode that I did with Richard Walter, the founder of Mews, last week. We got a little sneak peek inside exclusive take. My third time interviewing him, which was always a fun time because he just gets super philosophical. So I love it. I love that approach. I love the mindset that he's got. And congrats to seeing some capital movement in the space a little bit more. But I think that's about all we got for WeatherPromise and that topic today. This topic, Jamie, I know since Michael, I see you're still lagging just a little bit, so I'm going to go to Jamie first. But Airbnb launching their service partnership, ready to heat meals with celebrity chefs through a company called Cook Unity, which I've tried in the past. But Jamie, I want hear your take, excuse me, because I know you had some stuff to say in the private chat.
Did that image look like just a TV dinner that
It does.
Airbnb is now delivering TV dinners to your short-term rental guests that you can heat up? Is that the story?
Basically, like Cook Unity, if you want me to go into it, I wasn't the most impressed when I was a customer, but I think that's because you have a lot of variables that get in the way of a good quality service like this when the food is good, but then you have delivery and food that can go bad really quickly if you're not around, or if it doesn't get delivered to the right place and you're chasing it down. Like, there's a lot of issues around this service. But yeah, the image did not make it look very celebrity chef quality.
Yeah, no, I'm very bullish on services around that make a short-term rental experience better. So if you're having a chef cook a meal and you've got 10 friends together, or families, and the meal is part of the experience, and the making of the meal and the delivery of the meal, and where the service that's going to come with it is part of that experience, I see huge opportunity for growth there. It is high service, high labor, but in terms of meal delivery, and it seems like there's a lot of apps out there that can give you and deliver a meal instantaneously, DoorDash, Uber Eats, and if this is going to be and competing with that, that seems like a pretty crowded space to get a hot meal delivered for a group.
100%. What are your thoughts, Michael?
I guess it's my turn. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
my computer's so messed up today.
It's Monday. It's waking up too.
But Monday's the best day of the week, and the it's usually brandy with the internet connection issues. So apologies to the listeners today. I'm kind of with Jamie. It's a bit of a TV dinner concept. I've had these before. They're not terrible. They're not great. It's better than nothing if you're arriving at your rental at 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. and you need something to eat. But I think it's an attempt to create room service for Airbnb guests, and it's just not fully hitting the mark. What it does, which is what Airbnb is so good at, and I'm so jealous of, is whatever they do, they're getting in the news cycle, no matter what. They could throw out TV dinners and the news eats it up and says, this is fantastic. This is the next big thing. So massive props to the Airbnb PR team. Is this a program we're going to be talking about in 3 months or 12 months? I doubt it.
Yeah. And if you're arriving at your rental that late in the evening, why are they not just ordering Uber Eats or DoorDash? Like, that to me is like, why would you go for a meal that you still have to wait 30 minutes or 40 minutes in the oven? Doesn't make any sense. So yeah, definitely not something we're going to be seeing in the news cycle, or a story we're going to be talking about very long term. like you said. But moving on, we are going to cover majority of the, or at least the rest of the episode, around our favorite mega trends. And so, Jamie, I want to actually kind of start with you because I think Michael and I shared what ones we're covering, but we didn't hear the one you're covering. So let's jump right in with you.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't share which one. It was a great event last week that Skift put on covering megatrends in New York. Great debate on how AI is going to be impacting the sector. Quite a few of the megatrends sort of speak to AI, the LLMs, and its impact. And the one I picked, the Chariot, I think is a downstream impact of AI, but I think is one that is going to be that we need to watch because I think it's going to actually create more demand for travel, and that's one of the things I'm always sort of keen on is not just like with the LMs and OTAs. It's all around like share shift is like, oh, is the OTA going to capture the demand, or is the LM going to capture the demand, or is Book Direct going to capture the demand? But with the Chariot, this is and it's essentially self-driving cars moving beyond novelty and giving travelers back the luxury of time. And I think as self-driving cars start to garner a larger and larger share of what and people have access to in terms of traveling, and like you think like, all right, we're going to go on a long weekend trip. Like I can be working while we're traveling there. Because right now, my wife and I go on a trip with the kids, and it's like, all right, one of us has to drive and the other can work remote. When we can both just get in the car and work for the day while we're getting to a destination, like it adds so much opportunity in terms of where we can go and what we can do. And you sort of expand that around the country. Like, yes, it gives much better opportunity on sort of business travel, which I feel like it really the article really dug into, but I think it adds a whole lot more opportunity for leisure travel as well, where getting to the destination can be a big time suck. And if you have someone driving you or they have the AI driving you, that it could really open up a lot of additional travel.
100%. Can I ask real quick though, do any of you guys get car sick if you're in the back and like reading a book or doing work on your laptop or anything like that? I never get car sick, but every time I try to do something in the back of an Uber or a Waymo, I immediately get nauseous.
It all depends on my driver. If I've got, I was like in New York in the fall and I was trying to do some work on my phone and the driver was, it was stop and go, it was back and forth. Felt like we were at an F1 start every time we were sitting at a light. It did not work. But the majority of the time I'm pretty good at working anywhere. Yeah.
Well, good for you, because I was going to say I would try to do more of that. I could probably do it on a train, but for the Waymo or even just an Uber, the drivers are not my favorite right now in terms of their driving skills. It's very harsh stop, hard.
If we're getting out of town on a early Friday afternoon to head somewhere and my wife's driving, like I can no problem working in the car.
Yeah, that's a good point.
What was yours, Will?
Oh, good question, Jamie. No, mine was the Star Megatrend, and it's music residencies are big money for live tourism in every city wants in. This is a big topic across Skift in general, as obviously we covered, Taylor Swift's impact with her tour and Bad Bunny, and, even talking about the Sphere opening up a new location in Maryland. There's all these things that make live tourism super, or actually just helping tourism in general. And residency is kind of the theme, right? Like if it's not a tour or something that's going to go, it's something that's going to be staying put. It actually helps drive, that tourism to that destination a lot more, because people know they're going to have more opportunity to see their favorite show or person or band. And I think this actually kind of applies to beyond just the star itself. I think it goes into sports tourism, which at our Megatrends event, we had the CEO of On Location, which provides extra experiences for those who buy tickets to, football games or F1 or, name your sporting event. World Cup was a big topic. And so if you buy a ticket to the Super Bowl, you're spending an arm and a leg to not only attend the event, but then if you partner up with a company like On Location, then you get on field access and you get to do this and you get to do that. And I think that experience piece is really going to drive, and kind of going into my prediction from the beginning of the year, how experiences will become the main focus as AI and content and all these other things become low-hanging fruit and more easily accessible to the mainstream or just your average local Joe. And so, I think this megatrend is perfect. And it's going to go into sports as F1 has many countries have been fighting for an F1 track or an F1 contract. And, the Oakland Raiders going from Oakland to Vegas, like every city wants a franchise or some kind of piece of the pie when it comes to sports as well. So I think all these things tied together is going to really carry the tourism bubble, which I also believe this one ties into the luxury mega trend as well, right? Like if you have all these events and all these residencies and concerts and tours, the top spenders, the top 1% are going to continue to spend.
Yeah, I thought it was a great sort of continuation of one of the trends from last year, where live events was that mega trend. And it's like, all right, how do we get live events to never leave? It's like, oh, maybe they could do a live event every night for 3 months during the lowest season in our booking calendar, and then see the impact of that. And the impact of that is, let's do more of this.
It's a lot of money, and it's good. I think it's good for the city. I think it's good for people to, as just more isolated as we become. I think, the loneliness epidemic and all these things that kind of come up to mind, right? Like the more of that is happening, the more like good things like this brings. I think it's a really good opportunity. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass to fight traffic and to, maybe you guys spend a little bit more money on a hot dog that you wouldn't pay $12 for or $15 for. But at the end of the day, it's a good time. Like even just like I think about the WWE experience. Like I'm not a wrestling fan, but my brother and my dad and I had a great time. The experience was awesome, and
And a question I have is, how many more residencies like Bad Bunny are there out there of like where a artist is like tied to that location? Like could was it Outkast be doing a residency in Atlanta? Could you have Jay-Z do a residency in Brooklyn? I'm not a big music person, so I'm running out of other examples.
I would love to see a Kendrick Lamar residency. I'm a big Kendrick fan, so it'll be fun. I would buy a ticket.
Yeah. Kenny Chesney. In Nashville. Does that work?
I think so. I think that works. Cool. How about you, Michael? It sounds like we might have gotten you back a little bit, but what was your mega trend?
Showing your age. Yeah, hopefully this works. Mine was the magician. Travel through large language models. So basically, the era of SEO, where we have all invested so much time and money into over the past decade or two, is going to fade away in lieu of generative engine optimization. If you aren't thinking about revamping your website for agentic crawling or an MCP layer, you're going to be left behind sooner rather than later. And we know I think there's 80 million ChatGPT visitors a month. I could be wrong on that. I think I've heard that. It's a massive amount of users. But the transition is starting to happen, and agents from these LLMs following websites look for that. Anthropic right now scrapes 6,000 pages for every one visitor it sends. So I'm getting some feedback that I don't know if feeding is coming in.
Yeah, and maybe we'll take over on this one, Will. But
Yeah.
clearly, and LLMs, ChatGPT, Anthropic, Claude, Google Gemini are going to change a lot of the way people find and book travel.
Mhm.
I think it was interesting. It's not a story, but I think it plays really into this of OpenAI announcing last week that they're going to start serving ads
Mhm.
in the free version of chat. And like, what are the companies that are going to start advertising within ChatGPT? It's probably going to be the OTAs, Booking.com, Expedia, that are going to try to drive, and when people are searching about travel, that they're going to and get people to book their flight, book their hotel, and get people into that flow. So as these LLMs move towards advertising generating revenue, I think our industry, travel, is going to be right there to spend the money and drive the bookings to their sites for it.
100%. And I was going to say our hotel crew last week even covered this, where Google kind of shared that, at the Megatrends event, I believe in London, because we had two of them last week. Yeah, it was London, where they're able to not only just find your property or do things, suggest your property to travelers via the description or the listing title and description, but actually through the picture. So if I'm typing in, romantic getaway but maybe your property or description listing doesn't show or share in terms of like romantic getaway packages or anything like that. But if there's a couple in the pool, or maybe a couple having breakfast together at the restaurant, like, it will still use that information from the photo to surface up as a potential booking option. So photos are also going to be super important, that you're including more than just your room type, that is more lifestyle focused, which is something that property operators should have been doing a long time ago. In general, get your guests imagining themselves at your property right out the gate, and then let the LLMs use that information to carry up your listing in search.
Awesome.
Yeah, well, we obviously had some technical difficulties this morning, slow Wi-Fi, bad connection, streaming issues. So for the listeners, apologies ahead, or not ahead, but yeah, apologies for that. But anything you guys looking forward to this week coming up? Jamie, we'll start with you.
Yeah, heads down, no travel in January, so nothing there. Excited for the kids to go back to school, hopefully tomorrow, and for hopefully no damage. We'll see more and more around the disruption and that the storm's been having, and as everyone gets back, and hopefully some more snow out on the western mountains to drive more tourism there too. So it's some areas getting too much snow, some areas not getting enough snow. It is a weather driven booking pattern right now.
100%. A couple of live comments have come in as well. Shout out to Steve Schwab, CEO and founder of Costigo, saying, I can't wait for our maintenance team to be able to do work orders and emails while they are driving to the homes to do the work. So, getting that extra productive email or two knocked out of the way with the autonomous driving vehicles will be fun. And then Paul Manzi, as always, commenting in OTAs and metasearch account for so much ad spend on Bing, Google, etc., which has made progress and enhancements slow to the greater travel vertical. The agentic experience is absolutely changing that, but basic SEO best practices are going to continue to prevail. Great insights, great feedback. Paul's the man and legend around that stuff. So thanks for all of our live viewers. Thank you for all of our continued replay listeners on the podcast platforms. You know exactly what to do. Tune in on Wednesday for our hotel crew. And of course, like always, we'll see you guys again next week.